and not to smoke. Hawkins put the liquid into a coffee filter and strained out the stems and debris. Then he poured what was left into a rice cooker and reduced it down to something that looked like axle grease with a reddish tint. He put the stuff in a double boiler and added some coconut oil. "Is that for flavor?" "No. It homogenizes and activates the cannabinoids," Hawkins said, Jimenez wondering if Hawk knew what he was talking about. "It's a lot of damn trouble. Why don't you just give her a joint?" "You can't control the dose. A gram of this stuff a day helps her out and doesn't make her high." "Still, it's a lot of damn trouble." Hawk gave him that look that used to scare the shit out of the Iraqi prisoners and everybody else on the tier, too. "It's my mother." Eveline Owens came in, an unfiltered camel behind her ear. She was carrying a cardboard tray from Starbucks, her turn to make the coffee run. Owens was raised on a cattle ranch in Montana or North Dakota, somewhere. She was tall and knobby-looking, like she had too many elbows and knees, with a long Jersey-made face and the biggest hands Jimenez had ever seen on a girl. She probably won a lot of blue ribbons for roping cows or churning butter or whatever the fuck they did out there. Jimenez had tapped that ass a few times, but there weren't a lot of options over there. She was what they called a 4-10-4. A 4 in her hometown, a 10 over there, and a 4 when she got back home. "This drink is for faggots," she said. She handed Hawkins a cup of something that had the word caramel in it twice. "What'd you get?" Hawkins said. "A bale of hay?" Owens was a little glassy-eyed. She'd been drinking since they arrived, a six-pack all herself. She drank a lot at Abu Ghraib, but now she was a full-on alcoholic. Jimenez reminded himself not to rely on her. She gave Richter his coffee. "Thanks," he said, not looking up from the paper. You could hardly read for the blotches of burrito grease. "How are the wife and kiddies, Jimenez?" she said. "I don't know. Carla won't let me come home." "She find out you had shit for brains?" "No, I boned her too good and wore her ass out." Jimenez, Hawkins, and Owens were all on Tier 1, where they kept the security detainees, the poor bastards who were suspected of attacking U.S. troops or knowing something about it. Jimenez was a military intelligence reservist, called up for duty because there weren't enough officers to abuse the detainees. Hawkins and Owens were both MPs. The lieutenant colonel and chief warrant officers were supposed to be in charge, but you pretty much did whatever you wanted. A couple of other guys had served at Guantanamo, but other than that, nobody from the CO on down had any experience in running a prison, collecting intelligence, conducting interrogations, or any other relevant subject. At the time, the insurgency was everywhere, the entire area in chaos. Whole families were scooped up. Maybe 2 or 3 out of 100 had anything to say that you could call intelligence, and the longer they were detained, the older and more meaningless their information became. Nobody really knew who was doing what. There was the CIA, military intelligence, the outside contractors, CACI and Titan, and OGAs, or other government agencies. Everyone called them ghosts because you didn't know who they reported to. MI, Task Force 121, the FBI, the Defense Intelligence Agency, or some other secret organization full of mysterious motherfuckers with a budget hidden in the Farm Bill. The CIA guys and outside contractors did most of the interviews. If you could call screaming, threatening, breaking furniture, slapping, punching, or throwing the detainee down a stairwell an interview. The MPs were instructed to soften them up, which really meant they were turned loose to do whatever the hell they wanted. No instructions, regulations, limits, guidelines, or supervision. When Jimenez looked back on it, he still had to shake his head and wonder. Take a bunch of grunts who were hard sons of bitches to begin with and who'd watched the 9/11 tape 1,000 times, or maybe had a friend shot in the head by a sniper or blown up by an IED, and put them in one of Saddam's filthy, overcrowded medieval dungeons with no water, power, or ventilation, and shitty food, and then shell them night and day and kill some of them so they were afraid all the time, and then leave them alone in concrete bunkers with their fear and their testosterone and their angry, pent-up frustration. And then tell them to soften up the inmates who might have a cousin out there lobbing mortar rounds at you, and surprise, surprise, bad shit was bound to happen.